What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of CP Unlimited. I'm, of course, Adrian Barczyk, joined Steve and Lynn. Steve, how's it going tonight?
It's going. It's been quite a while since we've done one of these, but we've got some new announcements from Cedar Point today, so I think it's worth doing something.
So, because there hasn't been a whole lot of fanfare with going on. I know we kind of skipped over the whole pavilion being built because that's been out there in the public knowledge. I sent that to you probably a month and a half ago already at this point. And we looked over it. We said, "Oh, cool, that looks cool. What else are they going to do here?" And we didn't feel the need to maybe talk about the pavilion being leaked per se. But now that we have the full rendering out there, the full video was announced this morning, we can see that it's a little bit more than a pavilion, a little bit of a surprise here. We're also getting a brand new model, which I think is a big deal. Saying that, when I first saw it, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But now having some information come out from Zamperla themselves and some more information from the park, it looks like we're getting a brand new style of spinning Wild Mouse roller coaster, as well as a few ride relocations, and then of course the pavilion that a lot of people knew about already. What are your thoughts here on the overall stuff going on here?
Yeah, so I think anyone who's an enthusiast, every single year we want a new coaster. Unless you're me, it's like coaster, dark ride coaster. But me and you were hoping, we were talking about, something bigger than a Wild Mouse. But I think
an Infinity Coaster would have fit in the space that they have, especially looking at some of the renderings. An Infinity Coaster would have fit where they have a lot of green space. You didn't really, I don't know what they're doing in the other spot, but they're moving Scrambler and Matterhorn over. By not moving those two things over, I think you could have fit an Infinity Coaster. But I think the biggest thing here with this Wild Mouse is that it's going to have a 42-inch height requirement. And we all know that this is the year of family coasters. And I think that's a big selling point for the park right now, is that 42 inches.
And I feel like the whole vibe for the whole Boardwalk area is a family area, relocating some rides, re-theming others. The pavilion, obviously that's not an attraction, or I guess it is an attraction, but it's to bring people together. It's to open up a whole section of the park, make it look nicer. That was really the last midway in the park that needed to be redone in recent times. It makes sense why they would put the Wild Mouse coaster there. I think it's a good addition, and really, I think the fact that it's a Wild Mouse this year just opens up opportunities for larger things, greater than an Infinity Coaster in the future, which we'll talk about that in future shows. But this one we're going to just discuss the Boardwalk and some potential things, probably going on with Dragster that we're hearing about.
Well, and that was the big thing with Dragster. One of the people made a point, I don't know who it was, but Tony Clark made it a point to say that this Wild Mouse would be the 18th roller coaster, and the only way you get to 18 is if you count Dragster. So Dragster seems to be still on the internal list of coasters.
Yeah, it's still on their list of coasters on the website. It's still listed as it's not listed as a fast lane ride because it's not open this year, but it is listed on their website as a roller coaster. And I think it just has asterisks or parentheses that says closed for the season. So it's not like they've taken it off. I think what is weird is it seems like everywhere in the park is not selling Dragster merchandise. I think that's the only.
Well, there's a few things left. You can still buy the Dragster Squishmallow. I know when I was there last month, you could still pick that up. But like you said, all the new stuff that they're releasing doesn't have Dragster on it. And I don't know if it's just because of that uncertainty. And some people are like, oh, well, obviously that means that they're pulling the ride out, that it's done for good. And I maybe it's just, hey, let's focus on some other rides. We don't know what's going to happen with Dragster. Let's just wait and see, and let's not put it on the merch. Like, we have plenty of rides to choose for our Skyline, and I'll be honest, Raptor looks far better on most of those items anyway.
All right, that's the end of the show. I quit.
But you've noticed Raptor is on a lot more stuff this year. There's a lot more Raptor merch around.
Sure has been. But no, I think with the whole dragster thing, there's markings around the ride. It seems like they're just going to move the queue as of now, and take people out of, I guess, what we can now call a dangerous area.
Yeah.
Even though it's once in a million time chance, but 1 in a million, you don't want to take that chance, so it makes sense for them to want to move it. And if they can keep the ride, and it's a staple of Cedar Point, a lot of enthusiasts love the ride. It's embedded in the Cedar Point skyline. So if they find a way to keep it and reroute the line, and make sure if anyone standing in line is safe, then
so be it, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the way to go. Taking it down, unless you're going to replace it with something so much bigger. And at this point, I don't know, like that's a 5-year thing. You would think that you can't just pull out that ride and just put something else huge in there overnight. Like that's not how things work. So like you said, a lot of people like Dragster. I'm on the fence about it. I could care either way. If Dragster stays, if Dragster goes, I think Dragster in the front row is an amazing experience. However, do I ride it every time I go? Very rarely do I actually ride it. Yeah. So, it's just one of those things where if it stays, great. If it doesn't stay, okay, let's move on.
Yeah. My thing with Dragster is if it's your first time at Cedar Point, if you're a roller coaster enthusiast, first time at Cedar Point, you want to go on Dragster, it is worth the wait. It is worth the wait for, your first time ride. But anytime after that, it's like, you got to have rides like Valorant, Millennium, Maverick, Steel Vengeance, even Raptor. I'd wait longer for Raptor than I'd be willing to wait longer for Raptor than Dragster. Just, it's a longer ride. You get more out of it. Like, Dragster's a crazy, thrilling experience the first time you ride it, first couple times. But now, after I've been on it so many times, like, it's like I don't even feel the anticipation getting launched. It doesn't, it doesn't give me that, anxiety feeling. Like, I know, like, okay, I'm going to roll back a little bit and then I'm going to go. Like, it's fun. It's fun going 120 miles an hour. But if I'm going to wait, hour, 2 hours for a ride, I'd rather go on something that,
has a little more.
I get more out of it. Like,
yeah. The one big question mark I have, and going back to the boardwalk itself, is the pavilion. And like, I was really hoping for like a Hershey Park style restaurant. Now, if you haven't been to Hershey Park,
I have not.
Built Candemonium, they redid their whole front entrance, and their front entrance is pretty amazing. It's really huge. They moved it completely to a different section of their piece of land. And they added this huge 2-story restaurant / gift store. So on the bottom level, you have a gift store, you have an ice cream shop. And then on the top level, you have a huge, like, fine dining, sit down waitress experience restaurant. And that's been the one thing that I felt that Cedar Point has been missing, is they've been slowly taking away the sit down restaurant places. Everything's been this new cafeteria style, even the new farmhouse, where you get in line, you go up to the counter, you get what you want, you go get your drink, you go pay, and you walk out and you find a seat outdoors. I was really hoping that this pavilion would provide an experience, like a fine dining experience. Maybe not so much, because the only place you can sit down and eat anymore are Johnny Rockets, which I don't go to ever. And then Chicky and Pete's.
Those are the only two
are so small. It's so small in both of those places. There's like 10 tables in both of them.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping for something a little bit more elaborate, coaster themed maybe. And then like an ice cream shop. My whole thing has always been, when I was talking to people about the pavilion, is they need something to bridge the park closing to when people are actually done partying and living their lives on the beach, who are staying at the hotel. That there's just enough, like, once the park closes and you go to the hotel, like Domino's Pizza is like delivering pizzas like every 3 seconds to hotel breakers because there's literally like nothing else to eat.
Yeah.
They need to fix that problem. And I said, if you're making this pavilion, is there a way to make this the new entrance? And that's what Hershey Park did, is they made it the exit to the park. And you could then keep that open for the hotel after hours. So the park closes, but this thing stays open. But from all the renderings, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case at all. It looks like it's going to it's going to have views out onto the lake, but it's really, you only see the one side of it. It's really hard to tell, it's really hard to tell what the opposite side of the pavilion is going to look like, and if it's just going to be windows or if it's actually going to have an exit, which at this point in the rendering, the exit and the entrance is still there next to Windseeker. So I'm of the mindset that this is not going to be an exit and an entrance, and that it's probably going to close when the park closes, which I think is a little bit of a missed opportunity considering how many people are staying at the hotel and how much more money you could theoretically make.
Especially with their whole like Cedar Point nights thing, from 4th of July until end of daily operations. I mean, a lot of those people, I would imagine most of the people staying for Cedar Point nights are at the hotel. Just because it's the last thing you can do at the park. It goes for a while, and I think I've never done it. I think it goes a little bit beyond when the park closes. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but
I couldn't tell you.
It
might go a little bit beyond the park closing or right at the park close. I'm not sure.
But I mean, we also, to what you were saying before, do we know that it's not going to have any type of sit down restaurant option?
It doesn't say.
Really
it
announced anything about what type of food they're going to serve, what type of drinks, it
says the stuff that's listed. It says it's going to have a new restaurant featuring culinary items not found anywhere else. Okay, whatever. A waterfront bar, and then indoor and outdoor seating. It doesn't say anything about a gift shop. It doesn't say it's anything about an entrance or exit. Which, looking at the size of it, it could very well, if you put the bar at the bottom and a restaurant up top, you could very well have enough space for that to have a sit-down restaurant.
It almost sounds like a fest house from Kings Island, just on a lakefront, a lakefront fest house with windows.
It would be really nice, even if it's not a waitress style restaurant. It would be really nice to have somewhere that has air conditioning that you could sit down in the park and have a meal in, because we went to Cedar Point last month. And then we went to Carowinds right after, and my whole family was like, oh, this is so much nicer just to have the Harmony Hall to be able to sit down in air conditioning and actually have a meal, as opposed to the farmhouse is nice, but you still have to sit outside in the heat. And it's well shaded, but it's still humid.
90 degrees in the shade is still hot.
It's still hot, folks, as you all know. So I have hope for this pavilion, and maybe they're going to release more information about it when winter chill out rolls around, but I'm really hoping that they have something really cool planned for that will help at least make a better experience in the park. The other thing, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people have been complaining about, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. Did you notice they raised the price of the Platinum Pass to $250?
I did not, because I have not had a Platinum Pass for years.
Okay.
But
I did not have a Platinum Pass last year this season was the first time I've had a Platinum Pass since the pandemic, because going into 2020, I said, you know what? I have no plans on going to any other Cedar Park in 2020. I'm just going to get the Gold Pass. It's $99. You get the water park, you get the parking. It was an amazing deal. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do that. If I end up going anywhere else, I can usually find tickets for $40. So if I go for one day somewhere else, so be it. And then the pandemic hit. So I got 2020 and then 2021 for $99. And then 2022, I said, well, I'm going to go to Worlds of Fun this year. So I jumped into the Platinum Pass again for this season. But now it's jumping up to $250. And And we all know with all these new platinum and plus packages and premier packages, or what the hell they're doing,
Yeah.
like it's raising some question marks of, hey, you know, what's going on with this pass? I don't know. Like I think with the gold passes, like I have to have a clear goal in mind before I jump into the platinum pass. Whereas before I was platinum pass every single year. Cool. I'm just going to
Because it was
do
the
it.
platinum pass that got you free parking, but now they changed
Now
it.
they changed it, so that changes the game because the gold pass gets you into the water park. It gets you the free parking. So now I have to have a very clear idea in my head of I'm going to Worlds of Fun next year in order to get that pass, to get the platinum pass. And I think I'm stuck in it because I think next year I'm going to King's Dominion. So I think I'm stuck with the new price point. I don't think I'm getting around it. But now I got to look into, well, if they're charging $250 for the platinum pass, what are all these extra packages? I haven't even looked into it because I'm like, I don't want any of that stuff. Like, I don't want the one-time fast lane. Like, I have that with Six Flags, and I barely even use most of those benefits whenever I go anywhere. So I'm like, okay, I don't need this. So now I'm going to start looking into that. But that was also, if you missed that, that was very quiet. Wasn't in the announcement video. Was the raising of the platinum pass prices across the board to $250.
For me, if I was going to go to multiple parks in the same year, I would get a platinum pass. Next year, I'm getting married. I got too much shit going on. Like I'm not getting a platinum pass. I'm going to be going to Cedar Point. That's it. Like I got too many other things going on. But year after, okay, probably go with platinum pass. You know, I'd like to get to Carowinds, Kings Island, Kings Dominion, Worlds of Fun, especially with their new coaster coming in.
Hey, a lot of people are going to be finding their ways to the Worlds of Fun in the next few years. I feel like I find my way to Worlds of Fun no matter what year it is. I went for Columbus Day this year or last year. I might be going this year to Columbus Day. Not quite sure yet. Might have gotten canceled. But next year for sure, I'll probably go back during Haunt. You know, it's just I always find my way to Worlds of Fun. It looks like a lot of people are going to be following me, and a lot of people are going to be finding out what a fantastic roller coaster Prowler is. So Prowler is one of my favorite rides anywhere. So hopefully we see a resurgence or a renaissance for Prowler. In addition to this Zambezi Zinger, this new GCI Titan track, which seems interesting. Like I'm I was expecting a little more out of that, not to talk about Worlds of Fun, but I was expecting a little more out of Zambezi, but I think the Titan track, because I rode it at Michigan's Adventure, and that first drop on Wolverine Wildcat is as smooth as ice, smooth as butter. So I think the Titan track is probably going to be a big thing, and maybe we'll see more of those too. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows, right? So, but it's just like there's just so much was inundating us today, and everything was like, oh, family ride. And then we got Zambezi Zinger first off in the morning, and then Canada's Wonderland is putting in a huge flat ride with a launched kids coaster. What the hell's going on here? Canada's Wonderland coming in with their 18th ride too. So overall, I kind of like having this morning. I was kind of like about this whole thing, and then I think the selling point is now that the Wild Mouse is a custom spinning coaster. That what you said they called it something. What was the name they called it?
Oh, it was
I forgot. It's not worth.
I don't remember.
It's not worth my time either. But the Zamperla has a brand
twister. I think it was a freeform
twister, something like that.
Something.
So they have a brand new name for this. It looks a lot like spinning coasters, like Spinning Dragons, maybe Steel Dragon a little bit from Mauerzone if you've been to Waldameer, Spinning Dragons if you've been to Worlds of Fun or any of the old Tony Hawk rides from the Six Flags. I love all those rides. So I love spinning rides in general. I love Pipe Scream, the roller coaster known as Pipe Scream. I love that one. And I love spinning rides. So if this thing gets a nice little clip on it and you can spin a lot of those have the front to the face-to-face seating, which allows you unbalanced cars. This one, if it says it's going to be 4 seats, but it looks like from the renderings that they're going to be stacked. You know, two persons all looking forward. We'll see how that goes when the ultimate ride gets chosen or gets built. But if you get those unbalanced cars and you get some nice spin on this, like it looks like it's got some overbanks on it. It looks like it's got some nice little elements. It does look a tad short to me, lengthwise, but I guess if you're looking for ridership, you're going to have a shorter ride. You can't have them out on the track all day.
I think, this ride, it's not going to have great ride capacity. The lines are going to be a nightmare, I bet, for the first 2 years, and then it'll turn into, pretty much how Wildcat was. It had a consistent, line of people that wanted to ride it, but it wasn't any really, unless it was an insanely busy day, it wasn't really any longer than a half hour.
And from my perspective, I skip wild mouses everywhere. I don't ride standard wild mouse roller coasters anymore. I find them to be incredibly painful and annoying and not fun. So if this is more like a spinning dragons, more like the Tony Hawk rides, and you get some nice spin on it, this is going to be something I ride every time I go, maybe multiple times if the line gets down to a certain level. I'm not going to wait 45 minutes to do it, but if the line's at 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even 25 minutes, this is something I'm going to say, hey, I really like spinning rides. I'm going to go ride that. Which would make it more rideable for me than Wicked Twister was. I could never get that damn harness over my chest at some point after a certain age and a certain weight. I loved Wicked Twister, but honestly, I'm probably going to ride this a little bit more than Wicked Twister. Would be.
I definitely will. I hated Wicked Twister.
I don't know why you hated Wicked Twister.
I didn't like it. I don't know. It was uncomfortable. It was
that stupid harness. It was so tight for no reason.
That's why I don't like riding Valraven or Gatekeeper. I hate those stupid B&M harnesses that they have.
Those vests. Well, the vests I like. I don't want to get into another vest debate with you personally, because the vest debate with Danny is enough for me. So I overall, I think going throughout the day, I think I'm much more optimistic about this edition. I think there's still a lot more possibilities for the pavilion itself. And I think the Wild Mouse is probably going to be a pretty solid addition now that it's a custom layout and not just your standard crappy Wild Mouse.
Yeah, it's not a copycat of just a copy and paste and another.
Well, and a lot of people were worried they were just going to move the one from Kaga over to Cedar Point.
Yeah,
and that one's a nice Wild Mouse, but no, thank you. No, thank you. I'll take this. I'll take this spinning Wild Mouse, which might be kind of cool. So
yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Good. I'm excited to hopefully I can get a ticket to Winter Chill Out, check out, some of the progress that's going on. I mean, you go to the park now, you could see, probably 1/8 of the pavilion's already up.
I know, right? They put that
a lot of the structures up. I'm excited to see if hopefully it's always fun to see a new coaster being built. It'd be cool to see if they start putting up some of the Wild Mouse track during the season to start seeing it. But it's such a small footprint. I wouldn't be surprised if they just, they could put that all up from December through opening day. It's nothing crazy. It's not like you got a 200-foot hill that you got to deal with the wind and whatever, but still it's on the lake. They're going to have to deal with they got, heavy machinery and cranes and stuff to get that stuff up. So we'll see. It'd be nice to see some track going up, but I think it'll be a good addition, and we'll see what happens with the pavilion. Hopefully we get some more information as to, what exactly
maybe there's a secret dark
inside
ride
of it.
Yeah, maybe there's a secret dark ride inside of that pavilion.
Hey.
Would that be something?
That would.
So thanks for joining us. We'll probably do some other shows in the next coming days with the other announcements that we've seen out of Dollywood and Worlds of Fun. Dive into those a little bit more. As always, I am Andrew Marchak from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Steve Lynn from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right on, Ride Warriors.